Hello everyone and welcome. This is Angelina and I would like to say thank you once again for attending the Smada World Opportunity Webinar today offered by Next Level Africa. Today's webinar is going to provide information and updates for you. As usual, we will be having a Q&A at the end, a live Q&A, so please keep your questions until then. So, a very warm welcome to every one of you joining us today from the various parts of the globe. That's greatly appreciated because you're in many different time zones, some very early and some very late. So welcome to people from Canada, the US, Australia, Jamaica, Spain, France, and the UK. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our presenter for today, Mr. Noel Adams, the founder of Next Level Africa and the leader of the Smada team. Welcome, Noel.
Everybody, just getting myself organized here. I'll just quickly do a sound check. Can you guys hear me from there? Okay, thanks very much. I've been backwards and forwards to our support teams trying to get some final updates on things that are going on. So it's when you're working with teams of programmers, they're a delicate group to look after. So just to cover what's going on, as I mentioned last week, there was a team that left the UK to go over to Los Angeles to working with the support team over there to get the completion of the exchanges, the security certificates, and a few other things, because what happened is the main drive crashed, so they had to transfer all the information to a new drive. So they're over there now, and to be quite honest, it's when you get teams of programmers together, it can be a little bit well, heated at times, because they're getting it set up before they actually put it in place. So there's just a few differences of opinion how it is to be set up, but nevertheless they are heavily involved with that now. So I get daily updates, but sometimes they're a bit slow. I mean, they're trying to have it finished by tomorrow so that that we can get everything all sorted out by then. As I mentioned last week as well, that as from the 11th, I'll be taking over CEX, so that CEX will be managed by us. But when I say managed by us, it's, remember this, the bank have got a connection to the exchange, because the bank will be looking after the asset account. I need to make sure people are aware of that, because that asset account is going to run into many billions of dollars in the asset account. So that's managed by the bank, so people don't have to worry that I'm sitting there with any access to it, or anyone from our admin has any access to it, and that your funds can just disappear. So it's fully managed by the bank. They have because the exchange is connected to Next Level Africa, because we have what we call a seed node in there, and in the seed node that records the dollar coin that we allow members to purchase for upgrading. Now those coins are not sold through the exchange, they're sold by Next Level Africa to the members, so that we have the bank monitoring that, because we only have a limited amount of coins, and we're getting close to the end of those coins, so therefore it's just monitored and will always be connected to the exchange through Next Level Africa, because of what can happen with the sale of coins, etc. Also, as I mentioned as well, that the bank sent a letter out to 91 of their investors. You've probably heard me talking about these investors over the last couple of years, and so finally it's happened that they've now registered with CEX, having all the KYC completed, so they're in there. Now we'll have access to these investors, because we want to be able to help them manage their purchasing of various coins, particularly the NLA coin. And just so that you know that CEX and GEX are part of the same family, but the GEX, which is the Chingaling site, now that manages the Chingaling, and once we see that up and running again, there's talk out there that the Chingaling has gone close to the $600 mark now, so that'll be nice to see that one going. The only other exchange that you'll ever see Chingaling on will be the Next Level Africa exchange. So they're allowing us to manage Chingaling through Next Level Africa. Now, the NLA coin, I can put that on any exchange, so we may push that into other exchanges. What I need to analyse just what we've got, because what I want to point out as well is that we actually, and I'm very transparent with this so that members know where we're at and how solid our business is. We receive fees for the transactions, both buying and selling, because I need to set up an intricate maintenance account system so that we've got the exchange that it's not going to let us down. I need to set up a very good support team so that we can manage any support issues, and we'll border on what the bank will be doing in there and what NLA will be responsible for within the exchange. So we're just doing this bit of a argy-bargy at the moment on backwards and forwards to the bank to get this sorted out. After I get off this webinar now, I've got a call just to go over a few things there with it. So all I'm getting at is that the point I was trying to make with that is that we will be looking at the fees that we collect, because a lot of that will find its way back into the community of NLA, through our projects that we'll have in there, because there are projects that we're trying to identify, projects out there that maybe don't get much attention. They're urgent projects so that we can assist out there, so that we have no one left behind. Because as I mentioned, that the bank have allocated at this point $100 billion a year to Next Level Africa to distribute as we see fit to our various humanitarian projects that we'll have going. So if you can appreciate, we are going to look at that rate. I'm just trying to give you a guide as to how that'll run, is that we will be allocating $2 billion average per week. Not necessarily like that. It might be that we do 20 billion one week and nothing for a couple of weeks, or cut it down. But I'm just trying to give you that vision of what sort of dollars are involved with this. So at $2 billion a week, we may have just 1 or 2 humanitarian projects that are recipients of that, or we may have 20 of them that are getting smaller amounts. So, but that's really where we're at with it. And what we're also talking to the humanitarian operators is that what we'd like them to do is consider having a look at our opportunity for them to invest back into the hen that's feeding them, if you like, so that we might make recommendations that they put a little bit of an investment into some of our coin. They may buy coin. So we'll look at that. It'll be a case by case out there, because we can look at whether they become involved with the NLA community, a little bit deeper involved with that, and maybe some of our other alliance partners, because what we're trying to do is to establish a network of cryptocurrency, because that's really where we're having a very close look. That's why the banks are attached to us, because they use the crypto as stored value. And that's, in case anyone's wondering how our money arrives, the bank have okayed a $20 billion into our asset account, And how that money arrives here, it arrives through the sale of Chingaling coin. Now, if you can appreciate this, they have a very large group of investors, and I'll just use little dollars so that you can understand the magnitude if you want to start multiplying it out. But what would happen is that, let's say there were $1,000 worth of Chingaling coins sold, and the bank is selling Chingaling coins at the moment to their investors outside the exchange. They want that to stop and have all transactions happen internally within the exchange. But what happens with that $1,000 initially, 500 of it goes immediately into the asset account. The other 500 gets invested into futures trading. It goes out for an investment of 14 days. And because they get a very good return on it, it comes back at 22% per day. So the $500 they put out there inside of 14 days, that's why you see our coin going up twice a month. When it comes back at $2,700. From that $2,700, they deposit the initial $500 into the asset account to make that whole. So that finishes up back into the asset account, which leaves them with $2,200. Out of that $2,200, 90% of that is allocated for humanitarian projects out there, and the balance of it is distributed back through the asset accounts in both GEX and CEX. Now, I'm due to be in the States. We've just recently put another 70 projects into, well, not 70, I think there was 10 up in the first place, another 60 projects in there, and we've got a whole lot more coming. A whole lot more coming within the next, well, as soon as line 5 becomes available in there, so that should be very, very soon with line 5. So you can see how the whole thing comes together out there. When I spoke of a figure of $1,000 worth of Chingaling coins, believe you me, the figure is much greater than that. They have now something like about $3 trillion that are sitting there in the humanitarian accounts, ready to be distributed out there once they start. And so it's quite a large humanitarian project that they're looking after. So, so anyway, that's where that happens. Just to mention line 5 in NLA, there's been, because the programmers in the States are working on the exchange. The exchange is connected to Next Level Africa. They've had to stop line 5 because it takes a few hours for line 5 to load fully in there. They had to stop it because members may not be aware of this, but NLA went down earlier in the week there. So they had to stop it, and they restarted it again, and they've just been backwards and forwards. So as of last night, line 5 is loaded, and all that's left is the balances. All the balances are being, or will be loaded. But when the programmers finished up last night, they turned it off because there was a threat of thunderstorms, and if it spikes, the whole thing will cease. So they turned it off. So they're going in, they start work in South Africa at 5 a.m. in the morning, and they're hoping to have it completed 3 hours after that. So we're probably looking at another 10, 11 hours from now. So line 5 should be loaded in there. It normally, look, they're double checking, and that's why it's been a bit of a delay, because we've been backwards and forwards trying to chase up members who have positions there to make sure no one loses their position. It's been a fairly slow job doing that, and it's really trying to look after members out there. And so because we've got members that have gone away, that we've got members that have been in hospital, and so we're just doing our best so that no member loses out on their position within the matrix. So anyway, that's all happening out there as well. Just to mention about BCN, anyone that's involved with BCN may have noticed over the last couple of days the site has been up and down all over the place, and I should imagine because of their what's happening there for the April updates. They're putting in a new system, and the system is going to be that there's going to be different ways that you can pay for your position mining pool, and different ways you can receive mining activity in both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum, and I think their Club Coin is another one of them that they'll be using. So it's just they're right on top of it, but it's a very big job that they're doing there, and they just paid a little bit of a dividend. If members might have noticed that, because they were to have their mining equipment set up, and it's been delayed with deliveries and one thing and another, and they're hoping to have it in place by the end of this month. So mining is running at something like half of what it was, and they're hoping to rectify that by the end of this year. This month. If I sound like I'm all over the place, I've got messages coming in from all over, so I'm just trying to stay in touch with some of those messages out there, so I can give as much information as we need out there. So now the other thing is that some of you may be aware of UPB Plus. UPB Plus is something that has been running there for some time. We've been trying to get it going. UPB Plus will be using the NLA coin as a payment method in there, so it's rather exciting, because the more companies, the more use we've got for the NLA coin, the coin will increase in value, because it's simply supply and demand out there with it. So I'm working with them at the moment, and they're at the point where they, in fact, I just received a message in, I'll see if it's important to deal with UPB. It looks there, because they're trying to get it stabilized there, and they're checking it out. So they're working with their programmer, and the programmer has asked for 2 more days to finalize whatever he's doing his end, and then I would say that next week I'll go into a bit of a beta test with it. They'll be putting probably 20 or 30 members into the system, so that can be tested out to make sure it's all flowing correctly. We need to get the exchange linked into it, and the wallet. So therefore we'll be looking at getting all of that completed. So I'll know more about that for next week. And as I said, this is not about trying to get as many programs as possible. These are just alliance partners that have agreed to use the NLA coin, and so therefore we want to make sure we get that on board, because we're going to have, and the investors that we have coming with us will want to see all of that as well, because the more use for the coin, people have got to buy it. I mean, they've got to go and buy the coin in order to be part of the UPB process. And I won't go into details on the UPB, but the uniqueness of using the coin just simply means that there's no stalling. The system will run seamlessly because of using the coin. So we are excited about doing that. Also, I mentioned about the payment processor that I'm looking at. The information I just received actually in the last couple of days is that the management a meeting with the Financial Conduct Authority. That was 2 days ago. They were meeting with that authority, and they are very, very close to getting that signed off. Once that's signed off, it's a very unique system where we'll be able to the onboarding is nowhere near the costing on some of the processes that we've had, and members will be able to transfer money to each other and be able to interact with each other, and there's no cost sending money from member to member internally, so your bank accounts are linked up. But look, I won't go into detail about it. It looks a very unique system, and there are rewards in place for various shopping opportunities, and people like Amazon have taken it on board, and there's a couple of extremely large supermarkets in the UK which I'll announce a bit later. They've taken it on board as well, so members using their cards in these places can actually receive a cashback. It's a rewards program. It's not compulsory you do it, but it's just all part of the eco chain that they're setting up there. So look, that's the housekeeping side of it out there. So I just want to to keep members informed. I'm hoping by in the next 24 to 48 hours I get some positive about the exchange. So they're getting extremely close to it. And remember this, that the team from the UK are staying in Los Angeles until this is completed. The bank have told them don't come out of that room until it's finished. So because there's been a lot of legal cases that could come up if this is not completed. The bank have had enough. And in saying that, what can you say out there? It's one of the reasons the bank have approached me about taking over CX. So I mean, unless there was a delay on it, we would have never been given the opportunity. And look, we are hoping to have CX running at, look, my goal to start with out there is probably going to be around $1 billion plus per week. And so if that's the case with it, you can imagine there'll be a lot of cash flow coming through that, a lot of coins being sold, and consequently the more coins that are sold, bought and sold in there, the coins will start to increase in value. The last I heard on the NLA coin, the coin's gone over the $100 mark. They can't put the money in the asset account, or it's in there, but they can't display it because of the security tickets that they're getting sorted out with CEX. And there's probably going to be another rise, because remember it goes up twice a month. So there's probably going to be another rise. So I'm only guessing out there, and it's a pure guess. I would say that the exchange will go up in the next couple of days, be completed, and certainly within a few days after that, by next week, I think you'll see the NLA coin at around the 110, 115 coin. So from that point, now that we've seen our first 100, the next 100 will come in very quickly, and then the thousands will roll in after that. So I can see the coin getting into the thousands of dollars per coin over the next 12 months. Okay, now one of the things out there that I really have biggest look, what people really can't understand is the magnitude of what we do, and because it's not necessarily visible out there. But when I mention about the coins, remember this, that when line 5 gets loaded into the system, you've got 243 accounts. And if we multiplied that out, that's 3,645 coins, not counting any piggybacking, just the 15 coins for the upgrade will go through the system. Now, if the coin is valued, and I'm just going to put $100, in value. What that means is there's $364,000 that will be going up through the matrix, and it'll start happening from in the next 10 hours. So you can see that whilst it might not seem as much happening out there, that's a big injection, and it's the community that will collect that because of the uniqueness of how we do this, that each line goes in, no gaps. So everybody that's in the system now will be the beneficiaries of the activity that's going on there, and that will start to happen. But one of the things that stands out is that, look, I want to make sure that the members really get themselves, because at the moment you can't sign up to Next Level Africa. We've turned that off until we get them completed. But I've had, over the last couple of months, I've had a few members coming to me wanting to go a bit further, particularly taking further accounts. So it was from that we decided to manage what we call the 50 plus. So we've had expressions of interest coming in. We've refined that a little bit more, where people we can link people together to do it, because we can't manually do it. It's got to be loaded in by our programs with a CSV file, so that it's just automated in there. But the result on that's been, because we started it about 3 weeks ago, and the result on that's been approximately about $2.5 million worth of NLA coins that will be distributed amongst the members once we put this group in. And that's an extra that's come along to what's already there. So all I'm getting at is that don't underestimate what we've got going on here, because we run to the power of 100. I mean, we're buying the coin at $1, letting members do that for $1, and that dollar becomes $100 because of the value of the coin. Because as I mentioned before, that we will be ceasing the dollar coin. So I just want to congratulate the members that have seen the vision there with getting into this, because there are a lot of people. We have some huge groups wanting to become part of this as well. We're not doing a CSV file with them because some of them need to be managed by some of our groups. We have one of our loyal members out there that puts a lot of work into what goes on, and I'm going to mention the person's name, but Maxine York. And Maxine's on the call today, but Maxine manages some pretty serious accounts that we've got in Next Level Africa. One of them runs into 10,000 accounts, apart from some of the others that she manages out there, and does an exceptionally good job of doing that. So we don't want to get too carried away with having the some of these other accounts, because we do have some people that have indicated they'd like to take 20, 30, 40,000 accounts, because they run huge humanitarian programs out there, and they want to be able to incorporate this in there as well. And they see the NLA component, because we are a crowdfunding platform, and we are dedicated to make sure ours is a special platform out there. All right, well look, I've spent half an hour giving you some updates on that. I'll just go through just a couple of things I've got here to make sure people understand about the 50 plus and what's happening with our coin, and then we'll open it up after that for any Q&A. The major announcement we have out there, there'll be no more dollar coins. Yes, this is a good thing. So by the end of June, Next Level Africa will discontinue offering the NLA coin for $1 USD. And the reason on that is because, look, I wanted the NLA community to really benefit. I started the cryptocurrency in Next Level Africa over 3 years ago now. And as you might know, anyone that's been there for that long, we've had the banks coming in. And look, when I started off 3 years ago, believe you me, I wasn't the one talking in huge numbers, because I was just, you know, from the old school there of dealing with dollars as we go and programs. But all of a sudden, when you start dealing with major banking groups, they talk in the billions, and it's hard not to follow suit with that, because they are serious about it. And so they want, as much as we do, they want the coins to be traded on the exchange, and they want the true value of the coin there, because the market maker sets the coin. The market maker does not set the coin by the value of what we sell it for in Next Level Africa. It's based on the money going into the asset account. And members will see that it can happen out there, and it's running at the moment at probably close to around the $1+ billion a month going into the asset account. So once we stop the dollar coin in Next Level Africa, all trading on the coin will have to be in the exchange or member to member. And just to add with that member to member, look, members have been trading coins for, well, forever out there. I don't really officially know of anyone that's had any issues with it, but there are workarounds that you can go about to prevent any problems with it. I mean, you only need to, if anyone's dealing with someone out there, they just need to ask admin on if anyone knows somebody out there, because it's within our community. So, you know, people are not really going to risk their positions in Next Level Africa, and it's only the ones that have got bulk coins out there for sale, that the people that are well up high in the matrix. So if you need any assistance with it, we can certainly help in that way. But we can't become the police involved with this. If someone has an issue out there, you've just got to make sure that the dealing is done correctly with sending the coins and receiving the cash. Now, we are making this special offer to our members and guests. The purchase of 50+ positions in Next Level Africa at $20 US for each position. We will need a spreadsheet so they can be loaded in by our programmer, and they will fall on line 9. The reason we are doing this is to secure the dollar coin for the upgrade. We just need to know, once we get confirmation, we then can add that in, because once we open this up for any, I just want to add this in, once we open it up, because I'm not going to close up the dollar coins immediately, I want members to get the benefit of the dollar coin, but once we open it up, the members on line 9 will have a downline. They will have people signing in very quickly underneath them. Now, what I'm getting at is that you can imagine if you had people signing up underneath you, a position there has cost you $20 for one position. If you then have 3 people that pay underneath you and you receive 30 coins, that would be $3,000 if the coins were worth $100. By the end of June, the coins are going to be close to $200. So all I'm saying is that an investment there of $20 on a position in that could return you, I mean, I can't put an exact figure on this, because some people will sell a portion of their coins, some people will sell all their coins, some people will sell none of their coins. So it's hard to put an exact value on what this could be worth out there, but I am considering that it's going to be worth somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000 per position. So that's why a lot of the members could see the value in this and have made the move to do it. So I do congratulate the members, and having the confidence in what we're doing as well out there, that's another major thing. Now, we've also decided to do a partial positions in Next Level Africa, sending an expression of interest for the partial positions, so we'll do 10+. Now, we will link members together and submit the one CSV file, the cost on this would be $22 because there is a cost to load the CSV file, and the programmers do charge us for that, and there is a cost to for us to compile this. So we compile and put it together. So all we need is the spreadsheet from each person. And look, I'll tell you now, we've had people that have taken up this offer and they've come back again and wanted to add to it. People have taken up 50 positions plus and have come back and want to add to it. So they can see how easy it is for them and how profitable it could be once we get going with it. But anyone that wants to do the partials out there, we can't do these one at a time. That's too time consuming. But if we decided to drop it down where some of the members can't quite do the full 50, so we'll you know, bring the CSV files together. Now, send all expressions of interest to support@smada.world. That's our email that we're looking after for any expressions of interest, so that we can keep them all together there. We do try to look, Angelina, she's doing an incredible job out there. I have to say that I keep saying this, but we are all just so blessed to have our admin team headed up by Angelina. And we've got Karen and Julie out there, and Angelina is doing an incredible job to train both these ladies. They've come along and very, very keen and eager to do things out there, but it's been a pleasure working with all of these ladies, and I'm sure that we are in good hands out there. So just look, just quickly on it. That's when we first started with the coins out there on the 23rd of the 3rd. Our coin value was $62, and then as of the 10th of the 4th out there, our coin value went to $80. And as I said, it generally goes up twice a month. So you can see where I'm going with that. It's probably gone up twice from that $80. And I was told it's gone over the 100. And there will be another one due within a week after that. So you'll probably see within a week after we see the exchange go live and stuff out there, the coin will go around the 110, 115, because it's currently running at about $20 to $30 per month increase, and that will just start to multiply out there. Look, I do want to thank you very much for turning up at this webinar. I'm going to hand it back over to Angelina now, and she'll ask for any questions that members might have. So I'll try to answer what I can. As you well know, I'm restricted out there because of the non-disclosure I have with the banks, and I certainly will answer whatever I can, because I'm just as keen to answer some of this as you are to hear it. So I'll hand this back to Angelina, and I'll hopefully answer any questions that members may have. Okay, Angelina, back to you.
Thank you, Noel, and thank you always for your kind words of encouragement and support for all of us here. Well, even though we don't have very much new news, other than I can certainly build on what Noel was saying about the interest in our bundles, our 50 plus bundles and our 10 plus bundles. It's so exciting to be doing this daily here over the last couple of weeks with organizing people's accounts that they want new accounts to come on board. Now is the time that if you do have any question, to please type it into the chat, and we will see what we can do about answering. Are there any questions for Noel? Please go ahead and type them into the chat. I did post in the chat there the email that was on the slide to the email address for you to send an email if you have an expression of interest for either 50 accounts or 10 plus accounts. Anybody have any questions? I don't see anything popping up just yet. Oh, there's one. Good, thank you. Okay, Noel, Mr. Yoda is asking if, he's first thanking you for all that you're doing, and he's asking you, will it be the 11th of this month that you will be taking the CEX? I'll hand the mic back over to you, and please, people, if you have any more questions, continue to type them into the chat. Terrific. Here's the mic, Noel. Thank you.
Thanks, Angelina. Yoda, look, thank you very much for enjoying the information we've shared. That's right. Look, tomorrow, it's US time, UK time. Tomorrow we'll be taking over. We're just refining some of the things. When I get off this call, I'll be with the bank from there. But you are right. It is tomorrow that we're doing it. But as I said, because the bank have an interest in, and I like that. I like them. They're overseeing everything that's going on there, so everyone can feel comfortable that we've got an incredibly large organisation that are working with us on this. And look, I don't know whether you can fully understand what they're handing us in the way of running the exchange, but it's an incredible. It's just another amount of money that we can use to be able to put into into the community in order to look after many of the projects that don't get the attention out there. So I do want to make sure the bank are noted for that. They've certainly looked after us with it. So Stephen's asked, line 9, approximately how many positions are available? It's probably hard to answer that, Stephen, because as we get down the matrix, we're going to have more and more people that would have left. I mean, I fully understand that. Well, we've been trying this for over 4 years now, so if anyone's left, I can fully understand that. I'm sure that when they hear about when it's going again, they'll probably come back in droves. So it's hard to say how many positions we have on line 9, but line 9 totally collects, look, I'm not doing the numbers on it, but it's up around 20,000 positions in line 9, so we need to, once again, until we complete what we've got out there and who's in and who's out, that's why we're doing it line by line, so we can determine how many people are still with us and how many are not, how many positions are available. So it's just a hard one to answer out there, Stephen. Thanks, Tim. Tim saying that we've done a great job, and I do appreciate it. Look, it's not just me, this is a team effort out there, so anything that I come across as saying that I've managed to do it, it's really not just me, it's a major team operation that's going on out there. I've been fortunate enough to be head of the team, and it's really an honour, it's a privilege out there to have so many people trusting me, and I guess getting the support from the banking group. So okay, so Peter, with the bundles of 50 plus, how long will they be open for? Will it be at the end of June, same as $1? Well, that's what we're aiming to do out there, Peter, to keep it running until the end of, once we open up the site for registrations, we won't be doing this anymore, so people will need to register in there so we can do it. So okay, so Stephen's done the numbers. Stephen's programmer, so he's totally in the numbers. 19,683 positions on line 9. So thanks for that, Stephen. So I hope I answered that for you then, Peter. That's how long it's going to be open for. But once we do open for registration, out there with it, they'll cease from there. So it's going to run to at least the end of June. There's another person that's certainly acknowledged Maxine, acknowledgement to Maxine, and it's an amazing individual who is strong, patient, and a rock to so many people, and I thoroughly agree with that. She is just tireless in what she does for all of us out there as well, and I do certainly appreciate what Maxine's doing. Maxine's working with Lou, who's managing the smarterworld.com site, and we'll be talking more about that because we want to put the magazine in place. There's quite a bit to be going on, and I do want to acknowledge Lou on the work that he's put into that, and hopefully we're talking. I just needed to get the exchanges completed because we do want a lot of information going on there. I want to be very transparent with where we're allocating the funds to for our humanitarian projects and where funds are coming from to also support individuals out there, some of our charities, and just individuals that have got projects that they're running out there. Then Helen, Noel and Angelina, when does CEX is completed and we'll be able to confirm the resale order for the NLA client? That's what they're working on now. They're working on getting all of that completed out there. So so look, you will as soon as, and it may even be before, but obviously you can't see any trading that will happen on GEX at the moment because it's down. I'm pretty sure you can trade on CEX, and I do know that there's some funds that have headed to CEX, so you may see some movement. I'm not 100% sure. I know that you can deposit in there, but I'm not sure if you can purchase from there. I'm guessing that you can, but you will, if you can purchase from it, you will see some movement on coins over the next few days to a week. Okay, does that mean that NLA won't open until the end of June? I also salute Maxine for her tireless work. Muriel, yeah, look, we put a time on it at the end of June. We are in the hands of programmers and delays. I mean, I sent line 5 in to have it loaded into the system 2 weeks ago. And that should only be an overnight thing that it gets loaded in. So 2 weeks ago. Once I send it in, sign off on it, it's then out of my hands. But I'm hoping that we do have this because the next line will go a bit quicker, and you know, because they've been double checking and triple checking a lot of things out there, because remember we have a full history and of what accounts have been out there, because the accounts, when people look in them, they've been reset back to 0, but we have full history on that account if we need to check. Look, I've had people questioning the amount of coins in their account, and then when we go back and check, we have to remind them that they withdrew coins, so they're in their wallet. So you know, we've had to do with quite a bit out there, people just inquiring about it. And I've got no problem. I mean, that's just how it is out there, but we've got full history on accounts, so we can check them out. Look, it looks to me like we've pretty much covered the questions out there. I don't think there seems to be any more. And Spencer, are we still okay to pay for our renewals for the $1 per coin if we filled the form out? I requested to pay in Bitcoin for the accounts. If you're requested to pay in Bitcoin, we'll double check out there, Spencer, but what we've done is anyone that's requested to pay in Bitcoin, what we've done is that we've set up accounts so they can pay to a particular wallet, so we can double check on it. But I will double check on that. I'll make a note of it now. Angelina might follow that through as well. So we'll see whether or not you have been allocated a wallet address, and if you have, we'll get it off to you. So anyway, but that's, if people want to do it that way with it. Okay, look, I'm going to hand this back to Angelina. I do want to thank everybody for turning up, and we are getting closer, so we are nearly there. So dealing with programmers, I don't know. Look, people have been telling me that I sound a lot more relaxed over the last month or so. People I deal with personally, and just some of the people on the webinars out there. It's hard for me to always tell if I'm edgy or whatever's going on out there. And I think that's really because of I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And as I said before, that since we've had Angelina step up to the plate, and I just feel so confident we're in good hands with the admin side of things out there. So it's probably all part of that out there. I mean, that I'm starting to feel a bit more relaxed and feeling a bit better about what's going on. So I'm not in as many fights and arguments. It's generally not a week that goes by I'm not shouting and screaming at the programmers, but it's been rather quiet. All right, I'm handing this back to Angelina before I ramble on for a bit longer. I want to go into a meeting with the banks group after this and get the exchange tied down so that we've got control of that, and then we'll go from there. Thanks again, everybody. I'll hand this back to Angelina. Bye for now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your questions, and thank you, Noel, for answering the questions that have come up. There is someone just posted about funding. I'm not sure just what you mean by funding. That was just a word that someone posted. If you can explain that very quickly before we close this off, that would be great. If not, you can post a question in the general Skype room. That would be fine as well. And as usual, any new information we do post in the Skype rooms. There will be a recording of this made available somewhere within 24 to 48 hours, as our wonderful Karen is up very late, usually tinkering with the recording and getting it ready for us and putting it out. And Julie, she's been terrific as well with me, and Karen too, to support us in the rooms. And you know what? I'm going to shout out to Maxine too, because I haven't been able to say it publicly, but Maxine, you're great. Really appreciate what you're doing. Okay, submit an executive summary to receive. Rimmer, I'm not really sure what you're asking, but here's what I will do. I'm going to ask you to send in a support ticket to reply to Next Level Africa at gmail.com. Okay, that is our general support email, where one of us, Karen, Julie, or myself, will reply to you with any questions that you don't post in the rooms. Okay, with that, thank you for attending, and we will see you again next week, and we'll post in the room with any new updates. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day wherever you are. Bye for now.